Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Just wait a few more minutes and we can get started. We'll wait another minute and we can get started. People are joining. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our series of webinars. Today, we're going to discuss about the road to video OTT profitability. This webinar is gaining a lot of momentum in other parts of the world, and now we're doing it in the different time zones. Definitely post-COVID, this deck is fully updated with the latest trend and the impact of COVID on our industry. So we can get going probably, and the best is probably to provide some really interesting market information. So all the forecasts for the growth of SVOD subscription have increased due to COVID, obviously, when more and more people are at home and will still may spend a lot of time at home. The forecast for global SVOD subscription have increased. It used to be around the 1 billion range in 2024. And now, according to various reports, it has increased to 1.3 billion. This includes obviously Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney. This is now Disney Plus updated. They have more than 60 million active paying subscribers, which is an outstanding data. This was planned. This amount of subscribers was planned for 2023, but now they're already in 2020 achieving this target. Again, probably accelerated due to COVID. According to Cisco, 82% of all internet traffic will be video. This is very, very dramatic because video is being used not only in media and entertainment, but also in many other industries, such as medical, security, smart cities, etc., etc. Another interesting spike of video consumption and the use of video is around businesses and video marketing. So video is being used as a tool to promote businesses, to sell more. And there is a 80% data that 87% of businesses in the US are going to planning to use video as a marketing tool. So video is very, very engaging. It's very important for the future of marketing of businesses. In terms of content spent, $135 billion in 2022 are estimated to be spent only in the US by the leading content providers. And this is growing by like 65% year over year. The overall investment in content production, which is really the golden age of content productions, in our industry. Live streaming is also gaining a lot of momentum, definitely accelerated through COVID because of the use of live streaming from anywhere, from home as well. So this is a $60 billion market that is expecting in 2026. Retail marketing video is growing 135% year over year growth, according to Brightcove. Um, yeah, so 5G is also a very, very important trend. So 5G rollouts are started around the world. Uh, it is expected for an average 5G subscriber to consume 84 gigabytes per month in 2028. 90% of it is video. Just to give you some idea, today the number worldwide average is around 9 gigabytes. So it's going to, we're expecting 10 times growth in terms of monthly traffic consumed by each and every one of us on the 5G network. So this is really an explosive growth, and 90% of it is video. And 91% of marketeers are satisfied with ROI of video marketing. So video is definitely working across the board, and it's important tool in many, many industries. Some of the updates on the COVID effect. So according to research and markets, during Q1, there was a 55% growth in global OTT streaming, okay, compared to the previous quarter last year. Okay, so this is going to increase to 161 billion in 2020, the industry of the overall OTT streaming. This industry is growing relatively in a CAGR of around 20%, but due to COVID, we see a 55% growth. More people are at home, more people want to consume content. Live music has completely stopped. 6 months shutdown caused the industry 10 billion in sponsorships. This is according to the World Economic Forum. Music video streaming booms. Twitch music and performance arts category rose 524% during March 2020. So all the artists are looking for more ways to engage and reach their users through the internet. And another interesting data is, I mean, it's important for video is so important for businesses, not just to stay productive, but to keep their businesses afloat. So more and more businesses are starting to use video, both VOD and live, with a variety of shopping and interactive services to continue as brick and mortar stores are actually um, stop their activities. So why video OTT services are struggling? I mean, the purpose of this webinar is to discuss OTT profitability and why it's so difficult to maintain profitability in OTT domains. So there are a few things that were highlighted and we identified into our research. The first is the monetization aspects. Okay, so everyone that looks at launching their own B2C platform is looking at the investment and the ROI to justify it. So the problem is not just to position the content online with the right app, with the right CDN, with the right transcoding facilities and storage and analytics, and then the right platforms, mobile, web, smart TVs, but how to develop the right monetization model. Are we going in first phase to a freemium and advertising model and then charging with SVOD or TVOD, or what is the preferred monetization model? That's a key criteria in decisions. The second part is marketing and distribution. So once the platform is online, how do we market and distribute our content? How do we implement B2C and B2B marketing strategies in order to upsell and do whatever we can to promote our business? As you know, also for Netflix, almost 50% of their revenues are generated from B2B relations. So for any OTT project, regardless of the size, not only B2C, but also B2B strategies are very, very critical for the success. Another concern by major content providers is the security issue. How to protect content, how to secure their content from hackers, how do they make sure that the content is fully secured and they have full access to it and no one is stealing them and losing their money. So it's a platform that you need to manage. It must be secured all the way from transcoding to viewing. IP and data. So a lot of content owners, they are concerned about losing the content IP. So content providers want to retain ownership on their IP rights, and they want to have full access to data, real-time data, and viewers' data is a must for the success of OTT projects. And data is a critical component, including the content IP and issues. And the last point is the complexity of this video architecture. When we started about 6-7 years ago, we participated in a variety of tenders, and we would receive Excel sheets with RFPs that were like 100 lines. But now any RFP has at least 1,000 lines with a lot of requirements. So those architectures are getting more and more complex as consumers are requesting more and more features and capabilities. And those end-to-end video architectures are really, really difficult to maintain, to assemble together, and to have a smooth integration of all the different bits and moving parts. As Vimy, we have more than 50 microservices that are incorporating the entire video OTT architecture, and it requires usually intensive internal technical and operational video expertise in order to launch these type of services, and usually it's a showstopper and a lot of problems that prevent smoothness and ease of operation. So in a typical OTT project, it involves hundreds of decisions about product, services, implementation way that we will cover during this webinar. It usually takes months to build and months to update with any change that is requested throughout the life cycle of the project. It usually involves multiple vendors. It's usually too expensive and with moderate quality of experience. So this is the fact of OTT. Um, and taking into account also the monetization aspect, how to reduce churn, how to maintain content and make it interesting. It's getting more and more difficult to ask people to download new application. It must be a really interesting content type. But we're not going to talk about content during this webinar. We're going to focus obviously on the other pieces, which are on the engineering part, on analytics, on the monetization aspect, that try to make life easier, for people, for companies who are interested to launch services or even update their existing architecture. So we've assembled for what we think are the key consideration on the road to OTT profitability, and maybe we should just get started. So consideration number one is whether to deploy our solution in the cloud or to develop some kind of an on-premise implementation, or even to develop a hybrid combination of those. So the advantage with the cloud is obviously that we are looking to use external resources that are able to provide us a 24/7 global capabilities, including the ability to maintain spikes. But it requires some type of engineering capabilities. Usually, there is no one cloud provider who can provide everything to us end to end. Definitely, we can find in the cloud variety of workflows, like definitely the data centers part, like providing transcoding or storage, CDN, obviously from the CDN providers, but it doesn't. There's no one holistic approach for a complete end to end, including the application side and the video players, the DRM part. There's no one cloud provider that can provide everything. On the on-premise side, usually it fits the bigger operators or the bigger content providers, and they do that mostly in order to, because of the security issues, not just to reducing cost. On-premise requires an extensive engineering capabilities to be able to maintain this type of architecture. So the hybrid approach is probably a good approach to have that, because if it's a live show and we need physical transcoders somewhere in the venue or in a physical location or in a playout center or somewhere in the field, and then it goes to the backend side for origin and for CDN solution that can be as a cloud service. So these are the different aspects. Each aspect has advantages in terms of cost, performance, and operation capabilities, and they need to be seriously considered with each and every aspect. So I think maybe this is a good time. Sorry, to launch our first poll. We have some surprises here. So the first poll is about the preferred uh, OTT strategy. Maybe I'll do another slide and then I will launch it. The second consideration that is definitely important to consider is about turnkey versus microservices. So previously we talked about cloud versus on-premise, but another consideration is turnkey versus microservices, because there are a lot of companies in the market that can take full end-to-end turnkey responsibility for the entire OTT workflow, from transcoding until the application. Another approach is to go for the microservices part and to choose best of breed technology from each and every vendor. Obviously, the second option with the microservices involves a lot of internal capabilities the ability to do the API integration and to take full ownership on the end-to-end user experience and on an end-to-end smooth workflow of all these moving pieces. On the Turnkey side, it's a comfort zone where we have one entity who is taking full responsibility for everything. And usually these solutions are structured. It's very difficult on a Turnkey approach to have customization or to do some unique tweaking for our project. It's usually an off-the-shelf solution, which is able to provide this end-to-end experience, but it's has a lot of limitation in terms of customization. And the microservices approach, it is obviously more enable us to provide a lot of customization, adding different third parties, but it requires a lot of internal integration capabilities with a certain type of expertise. So yeah, now is the time for our first poll. So the poll is asking, what is your preferred OTT build strategy? Is it the microservices with multiple vendors, or is it a turnkey with a single provider? So I'll give you some time to answer. Okay, a few more seconds. Keep going. We would love to hear your voice. Okay, this is amazing. We're at 50-50%. So no one is winning. So same votes for microservices and turnkey. So really, really interesting. Thank you for your feedback, and we can continue. The next topic on our agenda is about the backend part, or this content management system, or the user management system, or all these backend processes. That what we think, what we like to the way we like to describe them is about the feature reach of the features and the capabilities, and also the scalability, because these are the two aspects that are important to understand. Because ODT is such a broad name, and some of the projects they're involved in the peak maybe 1,000 users, and some projects involved in the peak maybe 20 million users. So this is the meaning of scalability: the authentication and authorization processes, the features of different content packages, the ability to integrate to billing engines and advertising agencies in real time in a scale. These are the thing to take into consideration when selecting a backend for your project. So today there are probably hundreds of different features that backend the CMS is capable of doing. But again, it needs to be also scalable. And scalability is about infrastructure, about the matureness of the platform and its capability to scale. Because we see, even 100% growth, within seconds of of streaming consumption from our customers, and it requires not only the CDN to support that growth, but also the backend. So please pay a lot of attention about feature set of backend. Sometime in the industry, CMS is also being used as a term for the content preparation side, but for us, we think it's a different process. All the transcoding, live and VOD workflows are completely separate. What I'm referring here is the content management part, the user management, all the catch-up scenarios, the interfaces to a variety of billing and advertising engines, content partnerships, authentication and authorization, the CRM, the user management. These are all needs to be taken into account when selecting such a platform. The next topic is about the CDN. So the consideration in the CDN is obviously to select between public CDN versus private CDN. So more and more customers, not just operators, but also content providers, are building their own private CDN. Companies don't want the content to be shared with other companies on the same servers like the global cloud CDNs are providing. And they want to have full access to the content on all the servers. They want to have the content fully secured. So I will cover a few maybe selected an important aspect of that CDN in the following table. Usually the KPIs that are important on the CDN part are five key KPIs that we usually evaluate. The first is the quality of experience. So a lot of data about bit rates, about resolutions, about frame rates, how the users are receiving content, how the network is being used efficiently to stream content to the users. The other KPI is the cost, not just the cost of the CDN, the cost of the servers, but the cost of the bandwidth, how much bitrate is traveling, how much data is traveling between origin to cache, the cost of the overall cost of sales of operating a CDN. Analytics is also very important. So gathering user data, gathering events from end users on the analytic part is also important for helping to make a smarter CDN decision about servicing customer. Security, of course, not just content security with DRM and token, but network security with firewalls, with all the DDoS implementation to make sure that both the content and the network is 100% secured end to end. And obviously the scalability, the ability to support spikes in the network across different parts of the world. So if we try to put it on a timeline or on a table, Vimy is providing, by the way, a private CDN approach, but also public. And usually the differences are as follows. So on a public CDN, the commercials are usually the pricing is based on the overall traffic within a month, and there is a price per gigabyte. But when you build a private CDN, usually the cost is not by the traffic, by the terabytes, let's say, but on the throughput, which is the gigabit per second. And usually, regardless of how much traffic is moving within this pipe. So usually we are expecting at least 30 to 50% cost reduction in these processes. And when we do this type of private CDN, we can also create monthly packages or perpetual licenses capabilities in terms of our business offering to our customers. Additional aspects are in terms of time to media and the round trip time. On a public CDN, the global data is around 3 to 11 seconds. And with private CDN, through the use of unique technology, we can guarantee less than 1 second across any type of network condition, time to media. Usually the content is on the public CDN is shared by many customers. So the same server can serve hundreds of different customers. On a private CDN, it's a full dedicated platform with a full data ownership. Public CDN is the only unicast, where a private CDN can be configured as a unicast and as a multicast. On the public CDN, it provides usually just the network security. So someone needs to take care about the content security. So on a private CDN, we can take responsibility not just on the network, but also on the content side with DRM, watermarking, and of course, fingerprinting. On the public CDN, it's usually you choose a single CDN with no automatic load balancing unless you implement another layer of CDN orchestration, which again, something that can be done with Vimy. So Vimy can deploy a real-time multi-CDN architecture and orchestrator that can manage the Vimy CDN and also third-party CDN in real time. Public CDN usually provides just the CDN analytics on the Vimy side or on the private CDN. An additional analytics layer can provide user behavioral analytics, including using AI for audience segmentation, a variety of interesting ideas that we will cover here on the webinar later. Deployment of public CDN is usually within ISPs and managed networks, and deployment of private CDN is both ISP and managed network, but also on mobile side or enterprise or any type of network that is managed or is managed by our customers. By the way, if you have any question, you can write them on a chat. I will try to answer during this webinar. Okay, so the next issue to discuss is about the support for a variety of business models. And this is one of the greatest struggles of any new project, how to monetize the project, the content, how to develop the right monetization model, whether we start with SVOD, AVOD, TVOD, and what do we do when time goes by. So in the industry today, there are a variety of monetization models. Obviously, there is a Netflix model with SVOD. Okay, so it's there's no limit to what you can watch. It's a fixed price on a monthly basis that includes everything inside the content package. A TVOD or a pay-per-view transaction, which is one-off. just watch whatever you bought, and you can buy a token. You can buy a voucher, or you can buy an asset and watch it, in the next 24 hours or 3 days, or even download. The AVOD, which is gaining a lot of momentum, is another important content package. So some content can be positioned as an AVOD content package. It's the same like YouTube with the use of pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-rolls. Additional few things is download to rent. So you download the asset, the content for a limited time, or downloads to own. So EST or electronic sell-through, where you consume the content for the rest of your life. So not everyone should be like Netflix, right? You can see here in this graph that definitely there are a lot of players in the subscription side, right? With Netflix, BBC iPlayer, Showtime, can be ATV, Sling. There are services that are pay-per-view by origin, like iTunes or Google Play. And on the top here, the advertising part. So obviously all the Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, Vimeo, Vivo, Snapchat, these are services that are using advertising. But so the use of advertising across OTT is gaining an exceptional growth. Um, so the global SVOD revenue, according to Statista, is reaching around 87 billion in 2024. And you can see the huge explosive growth actually of AVOD revenues, 56 billion, that are expecting during this year, the same 2024. So we like to think that SVOD is leading the pack. It is correct, but AVOD is gaining huge amount of momentum as a viable monetization model for OTT services. And also the advertisers starting to recognize that, definitely with the use of smart TV and connected TV. Those CPMs are really, really high when we target, video pre-rolls within the smart TV domain. So the AVOD is extremely important. SVOD, obviously, the pay-per-view, and the whole idea is try to analyze the content type, try to analyze the audiences that are expecting to watch the content, and come up with a proposed approach, and get data, get the knowledge what's happening from end users all the time, and have the ability to quickly customize, to change, to do whatever is required, right? To listen to your audiences and change monetization model over time. Not change, but add more and more packages on existing services. So don't be afraid to do things. Not everyone should be like a Netflix. And I think this is the time probably to launch our next poll in terms of OTT business model. So I would love your feedback. What do you think is the most appropriate business model for your business or for the industry? Okay, we'll wait for a few more minutes. Okay, great. So we have a winner, which is SVOD with like 60, almost 70% of the votes, followed by AVOD, and the rest is not really in small amount. So SVOD is the key winner into this poll. Very interesting. Thank you, really, thank you very much for your feedback. The next subject, when considering OTT architectures and looking at profitability of OTT, is the support for advanced features. Again, this presentation is not about content. Okay, we are not going to discuss about what works and what doesn't work, and also it relates a lot to investment in content. We are here to discuss the monetization and engineering aspects. So support for advanced features, and there are a lot. The list is huge, and just adding a few more here, whether we go for partnership with the other third-party content partners, and we need to implement single sign-on and search capability on the third-party method content. Whether we want to implement just-in-time packaging for reducing origin and storage size on the VOD content. AI is important component used today for analyzing user behaviors and recommend and implement content recommendation. The ability to have a B2C and B2B strategy, not on the business side, but on the engineering side. The ability to integrate with OSS, BSS, billing system of telcos and carriers. The ability to stream through the network and to stream B2C. Implement advanced multicast ABR strategies with carriers in order to reduce costs, saves a lot of money. Implement multi-CDN architecture, going to 360 VR or even 8K. All of these considerations are important when we take into account for selection of an OTT platform, and they must be considered in our evaluation process. The next step is about agility, flexibility, and scalability of the platform. So each one of those words is very, very important. So I think agility and flexibility of the platform is probably the most important aspect of selection and analyzing OTT platform, because every project that we saw is changing so dynamically, within a few months of launch. So we have all the business plan line up, we have all the ROI calculation, we have all the content in place, all the marketing campaigns, and then we launch. And after 6 months, we need to change. We need to change content packages. We need to change, pricing. We need to implement different type of applications or look and feel. We need to have probably change or add another CDN, and we need a platform which is agile and can change every part of the architecture, not within weeks or months, but within hours and days. And this is, I think, very, very critical for the success of OTT. And it's something that we must take into consideration when you are working on this type of projects. The next part in our webinar is about the performance analytics. So for us, analytics is a big word for a lot of engineering dashboards, a lot of engineering data. But analytics also relates to the business side of the venture, of the OTT service. It relates to the marketing campaigns, to engagement capabilities, and these are also very, very critical aspects. If we look at the architecture of Vimy analytics and marketing platform, what we call the Insight, so you can see that it has a lot of aspects. So in the center of the architecture is a very, very advanced database that can manage billions of events, and events are gathered from the client side and also from the content side. So every click on the application, can be on the web or a TV or a mobile, every click is fully aggregated. We aggregate 100% of the events from the user side. We gather all the content metadata and EPG information, any CRM and subscription data, advertising data. Everything goes to a very, very small database. And from that database, and after implementing very, very advanced algorithms and analysis, we can then suggest a lot of pre-configured dashboards. These dashboards, and we talk about hundreds of different dashboards, both from the engineering department, for the executive team, whether it's a marketing, finance, BI team. So one of the interesting features that we have in our platform is a churn predictor. So we use AI to analyze user requests and come up with the corrective actions and suggestion what to do with this specific audience. So the system may suggest that a certain type of the audiences, and we have the names or the credentials, we know those people, and we can reach out to them through marketing campaigns. We know that they are going to churn in a probability of 95% in the next 60 days. So this can be a segment in the market. Another segment can be people who are finishing their package in 30 days. Another second segment may be people who like to watch sports in the evening. So we can create unlimited number of segments and buckets of audiences, and we can now start to develop, to design marketing campaigns and to reach out to those different segment on a personalized level with recommendation. So we can use push notification or SMS or newsletters to recommend content, to suggest ideas, personalize on the user basis. Okay, so we use AI for personal recommendation. Okay, so for example, since you watch this and this and this, the system thinks that you might be interested in this type of content. So you may also like. So analytics is a big word for visualization dashboard, mostly on the engineering part and the business side, but also taking a lot of business and marketing corrective actions to reduce churn, to increase overall satisfaction from the service, increase session time in the platform, recommend the platform for other audiences in our pool. Okay, so I have questions here, so thank you for that. I will answer at the end. So consideration number 9 is about the user application and the video players, right? So we definitely are aware that a platform needs to be selected with the capability to support any type of users. So we know that definitely there is a requirement to support all the different operational systems, whether it's an Apple, Google, Amazon, Roku, but beyond that, okay, then the capability to support any type of a platform, whether mobile, web, smart TV, there needs to be a strategy and a mindset, and it can change over time, whether we go for quantity or for quality. So if we're in the initial stages of exposing the platform as much as we can through the use of Facebook, Google, and any other marketing activities, definitely the use of web and mobile web is critical because of the redirect from Facebook and Google. But when we launch, and we can provide teasers over Facebook, and after 5 minutes, we can say, okay, in order to continue watch this, please click here. And you were redirected to the App Store or to the Google Play Store to download the application. So we need to be aware of first, the growing number of platforms, and there will be more and more platforms. In this list also needs to be included all the game consoles, Sony and Microsoft, and many other platforms that are going to be available here. And what is the strategy between native application and open application and open websites and mobile web? So it definitely needs to coexist. And you do marketing campaigns with teasers, with video trailers, in order to promote the native application and the managed app within the entire ecosystem of platforms that is required to support here. And there are a lot, and it's difficult to maintain because it's not just native application for Android or for iOS. With our different version, there are changes over time. It requires continuous management. It requires a professional company to manage that, on an end-to-end basis. Maybe now is a good time to launch our third poll. And this poll is, what do you think is the major OTT problems or with OTT project today? Is it having the right monetization model, complex OTT workflows, complex marketing strategies, content security, real-time analytics? What do you think is the main issue that prevents OTT services from profitability or for gaining better success? Okay, we wait for a few more seconds. There's a lot of activities here. Okay, so 50% of the people thinks that the number one problem is having the right monetization model, right? And 25% thinks it's real-time users analytics. So this is really, really interesting. Definitely, this is where the problem resides, and I fully accept it. Technology has made a lot of progress, but now it's issue about monetization and using analytics in the right way in order to make OTT projects more profitable. So really, thank you very much for this feedback. Few more slides about Vimy. So Vimy is a complete video over-the-top solutions provider. We are very, very unique in a sense that we've developed the entire ecosystem of services. So we have our own video CDN, which is a patented technology with the highlights of a low latency streaming, sub-second latency end to end. We also have developed internally the video backend side where we manage content packages, we manage the users, so it's a full user management and CRM solution with all the right interface to global billing agent, payment gateways, ability to integrate with the telco, OSS, BSS. The platform is fully integrated with leading content providers for single sign-on and search. The ability to create all the catch-up and scenarios, including cloud DVR. On the client side, we have a full range of applications that are white label, so we can provide you that are able to works across the entire portfolio of devices. On the orange here at the top is a full analytics and marketing campaign. So both on the performance engineering side, visualization dashboard, but also on the marketing side, using data to create audience segmentation, use AI for content recommendation, a full marketing campaign with push notifications on a personalized level. And here below is the end-to-end content security. So we work with all the leading DRM providers using tier one data centers, and can implement additional layers of security such as watermarking, fingerprinting, and we work with all type of content. I mean, we work with leading telcos around the world. We have customers with millions of monthly subscribers, but we are also working on the other side with individual creators, with YouTubers, with media houses and content providers on that are not as big, as the big leading content providers and telcos. So the platform is very, very agile. It can work on a SaaS, but it can also work can be implemented on premise in variety of scenarios. Additional layers on our platform is the ability to implement interactive services such as Q&A, chat, surveys, deciding about overlays, right? Deciding how asking the audience to decide on the next sequel of the story, the ability to integrate overlays for shopping and products, sales, inside video. So all these unique features are, I think, critical for the future of OTT projects. It's not just the video part, but it also all the monetization capabilities with content packages, the ability to integrate to billing and advertising agencies, overlays of shopping and products, and interactive services. Vimy has a patented technology on the CDN. It's important to mention that we're not in the business to compete with Akamai. We don't have a global footprint with hundreds of thousands of servers, and this was never our plan. We are focusing on developing private CDN projects, and they can be SaaS-based for customers. When we need to develop CDN technology when we need to provide CDN on a global scale for content providers, we will usually use Vimy, but additional 2 or 3 CDNs that we are engaged with through the use of our CDN orchestrator, because for every project has a different footprint in terms of geographies and type of video, and we know how to use the best CDN in every point of time across all the regions in the world. Vimy CDN is being used by telcos, usually private projects, and also content providers, and with the unique features of low latency and the ability to implement the CDN on a 4G or on a 5G network, which is very, very unique. Because as you know, when you're consuming content through the 4G, let's say, there is no cache, there is no CDN at the edge of the mobile infrastructure. And Vimy is pioneering this breakthrough with multi-access edge computing standard, which is offloading video traffic at the edge of the mobile operator infrastructure, something that is very critical. Definitely, as the future goes on, it's going to be standard in 5G, but in 4G, some operators in the world now are busy with virtualizing the edge for the caching and accelerating of video. So why we are different? So we have full IP ownership. We have patents and a big team of R&D development that are able and develop, all the critical building blocks of the OTT architecture, all the content preparation, content management, user management, and analytics parts, the CDN, the CDN orchestrator, the video players, video application, and shopping experience and interactive services with overlays. We use AI in various aspects of our technology, both on the CDN and in analytics for optimizing monetization, streaming, and recommendation decisions. It's a carrier-grade platform where, again, we have customers with hundreds of millions of viewers on a monthly basis. It's a platform that works already in large scale. No third party. So fast onboarding, reduce cost. We control everything. We don't need anyone. What we don't have, and we decided not to invest time in terms of the technology, is on the video transcoding for live. So we have our own VOD transcoding workflows, but on live events, we work with third parties. So it's the usual Elemental, Harmonic, or any type of other live transcoder manufacturer. Um, the support of any monetization model, SVOD, TVOD, AVOD, e-theater concept. We have projects like they are selling e-theater tickets like one time pay-per-view, and then they do chat and Q&A session with the celebrities and with the major artists of that movie. So very agile, very flexible platform, can do very fast implementation and development of variety of features. We support a lot of many types of business model. It can be a pay as you grow SaaS solution or a licensing deal or even a revenue share. Implementation is cloud or on-premise, cloud or on-premise. Again, this comes from the agility and the efficient way to develop our platform. We have a 24/7 support capabilities, a global NOC that is able to provide support 24/7 anywhere in the world. And the bottom line is that the result of all what we have developed and implemented is resulting in an increased engagement. And increased engagement is improved session time, reduced churn, how customers are recommending the content and the platform for their friends. Improved video experience. We are video engineers and video experts. We have patents in video streaming and video preparation. And improvement of video experience like latency and time to media is critical. Reduce cost, reduce churn, reduce time to market and launching services. These are all can be implemented through the Vimy type of platform. So I think this was probably my last slide. I will check for questions here. Yeah, so one question is how about global reach of your CDN and user experience? How does it compare with market leaders? So as I explained, Vimy has a global footprint, but we're not in the business to compete with Akamai or Limelight. What we do when we do global projects is using Vimy CDN, but also the use of our orchestrator and the use of third-party CDN as well. It can be Akamai or Limelight or any other CDN that we think has the right technology and user experience in the relevant part of the world at the best cost. So we know a lot about CDN. We know who is good and who is better in various geographies, and how to come up with the right pricing strategies dynamically and work with a multi-CDN architecture. So we believe in the multiple CDN through orchestration, and that is how we work. And I hope I answer your question. So if you have any more questions, this is the right time to put them on the chat. Okay, so you have a Q&A box, right? Okay, or a chat. You can use any of these to ask questions. I'll be happy to follow up with you if you would like. So please contact me directly at eitan@vimy.net, eitan@vimy.net. It was a really pleasure hosting you today, and we're looking forward for welcoming you to our future webinars. I would like to thank you very much for your time and patience, and hope it was fruitful and efficient for you. Please follow up with us with any more questions or any thoughts that you have. I'll be happy to discuss further. So thank you very much. See you soon and bye bye.